Teams. Right now we're going to see what we can do with Copilot in a team meeting, in a live meeting, how we can use it and what is needed for it to be used perfectly, right? So first of all, in order to use Copilot or AI in this case in our meeting, we need to have a transcript. Don't mind my settings being in German for Teams. So over here we would start the transcript or even start taping the meeting, but it will automatically trigger a transcript also. This is needed for Copilot to work because it's based in its answers on the captured spoken word and not on the actual spoken word, right? So whatever the transcript understands or doesn't understand will be used in order to give Copilot information that it can answer back to us, right? I have done the due diligence of starting a transcript earlier when we had the meeting, and now this deactivating it for us to not confuse the transcript or the information that we're going to ask from Copilot basically. So once we have the transcript up and going, everyone will get a privacy notice, and over here on the left hand button we will see that AI is going to be used in this meeting. So this is a friendly reminder for every participant to agree with the privacy statement, but also to see what's happening in the meeting. And if we have that transcript going, keep in mind that when you open the transcript, you will have to tell it what the meeting language is going to be. So if you have multilingual instances in your meeting, the transcript might not capture it perfectly, like a setting for an English transcript, and me speaking German every once in a while might not understand any of the German sentences properly and therefore will only give gibberish for Copilot to work with. This is something that I feel like will be fixed in the near future, but right now this is something to keep in mind when you are working with the transcript and Copilot in a meeting. Moving on, if we activate then Copilot over here, we see it on the side as we are used to it. Copilot can then be used in order to list tasks based on the context and generate notes or more. And we still might need to fact check it because as I've just shared with you, it is reliant on the transcript and there could be faults in the transcript. Also, if you have heavy dialect, there might be an issue with whatever it's transcribing with individual words or even whole sentences. And also very important for you, this is your Copilot chat over here. This is not going to be seen by any of the other participants, not even in your organization. So if you're talking to supervisors or colleagues or stakeholders, and you use Copilot in order to understand what someone just said because you did not pay attention, they will not be able to see it and the chat will not be saved. So if I close Copilot over here, let's just generate something. It's German, that's why the starter prompt summarize the meeting so far is in German too. If I summarize this right over here, I will get it in German. One thing I want to mention, the transcript is in English as you've seen, but since I'm interacting with it in German, it's automatically translating for me. So it's thinking for us, very smart, very much appreciated. Now I close it, now I open it again, it's gone. And that's what's fantastic about it right here. But also keep it in mind in case you close it on accident, but you really wanted everything to be there and see. So because this is all set in German, I'm going to tell it specifically that I want the results in English, even though I'm going to type it in English just to mitigate any potential for confusion and hallucination. What we can do, these are the most common use cases, is summaries, listing of next step, suggesting any follow-up questions, open points, perspectives of topics that have been listed in the meeting, core ideas that we have talked about, or even meeting notes. So let's start with the summary. Generate a meeting summary so far in English. Or summarize this meeting so far. It's all the same basically. And as we see over here, I prompted it to be in English. I will get it in English. Another good aspect is we still have Copilot's habit of giving us sources. So if there's a point that is just superficially listed, but I really need the details, I can use that in order to jump right into the transcript where it has been said. Or if I'm very fine with this instance of the summary, we have the formatting options right here in Copilot in order to transport it to Word, or just copy it if we want to do it old school and then share it with whomever we need. Sometimes corporations have new policies that say in a management meeting, all the meetings need to be transcribed, or we need to have meeting notes shared and saved. So using Copilot, you don't need any manpower in order to do that manually or meticulously. We can just use the AI and fulfill this corporate policy without any more money being spent on it. Right away, we get other suggestions for follow-up prompts. These are now in English, but I do prefer to still type it out with the prefix in English, basically, or the suffix, in order to be more specific. What are our open points on Samantha's site in English? Not a perfect English sentence, but Copilot does understand what I mean to say by it, and I will get my results over here. This is perfect. I can build on that. I can list action points. What are next steps in English? Almost. So what are follow-up actions that we might need? Or just generically next steps. It's basically also telling me who needs to do what. I am Julian in this case, so it's talking about the third person very generically, or generate meeting notes in English. Sometimes in a very long meeting, it can happen that people start talking about private affairs once the more core points have been talked about. So with Copilot, you can start creating meeting notes that you would otherwise automatically get when the meeting concludes by Copilot, just preemptively and excluding the let's say gibberish that people might talk about. If someone's sharing their screen and you're annoyed by Copilot taking up space, use this function in order to open it in a new window and move it around so it's not in your way, or even to a secondary screen if you need so. This is basically what we can do with Copilot over here. Very useful tool in order to automate meetings.